I mean, this intro music is alright, but damn, I'd be lying if I said this wasn't better. Now, if we just ignore this absolute mediocrity, Double Dash is a great game. It's far from perfect, but looking at Double Dash next to the game that came before it, I mean, come on. Double Dash was the Gamecube's Mario Kart, and it's one that is looked back upon relatively fondly by the community, regardless of it being the most rage-inducing one in the entire series. But inducing rage was pretty typical in the GameCube era. But before I get into the gameplay, the first thing I've got to bring up is the menus. You boot up the game and the main screen that you see gives you the options to go through your settings, your records, and just playing the game. We're off to a pretty good start, you know, right now, no complaints. The game is a 10 out of 10, nah, scratch that, 100 out of 100. I like the simplicity of this menu, the clean blue background, everything straight to the point. But where the hell is battle mode? At first I was thinking, oh, well maybe since this game is a little older, it doesn't have a battle mode. And then I couldn't find the versus mode either, so I knew something was up. You're telling me that if I want to play Rainbow Road, I can only do it through a Grand Prix? But no, that's not the case. Both of these modes are locked behind the multiplayer mode, which I don't really understand. If you want to play battle mode in this game, I hope you have friends, because you're shit out of luck if you don't. And this only sucks even more because the battle mode in this game is actually really good. You know, Mario Kart 8 got 2 different tries at making a battle mode and still didn't reach anywhere near the fun this one had. You get the choice between Balloon Battle, Shine Thief, and Bob-omb Blast. And Balloon Battle is probably my favorite of the 3 just because of how much of a classic it is. And sorry Mario Kart DS, but it's at its best in Double Dash. This mode can end within like 20 seconds because once you lose your 3 balloons, the game ends and you lose, that's it. Some of you might not really like this, but because of how bad my attention span is, this is right up my alley. Then you've got Shine Thief, which is fun, but you can kind of cheese it if you play like a female dog. Especially if you're on a course that's absolutely despicable.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Finally, we have Bob-omb Blast, and I wasn't really expecting much from this one. It's always felt like kind of a filler mode to me, but boy was I wrong. This is fire. I don't think it beats out Balloon Battle, but it's still fire. Just look at your screen right now and tell me this doesn't look like a good time. I love the chaos. I love the insane amount of bombs you can stockpile. I love how it gets more and more hectic as the game goes on. And I love bombing my friends. And bombing cities is also a possibility in this game though, with one of the first battle courses being Block City. Yeah, this course is like really simple, but it's got some charm. It's not as good as Block Fort, but it's still got some charm. They also threw in a course on here called Cookie Land, and I don't really know what it is about it. I just don't like it that much. It's just kind of mid to me. Sorry Cookie Land fans, if there are any. Then we've got Pipe Plaza, a course I actually enjoy. You get put in this plaza looking thing and there's some pipes, but it still makes me mad that you can't throw items through the pipes. Then we've got a course I just find really cool, the GameCube one. You're on this giant GameCube and that's it. Is the layout extremely simple? Hell yes. Would I be annoyed if a track with this kind of layout had any other theme? Hell yes. But it's just so fun and I like the night sky surrounding it. The last 2 battle tracks were unlockables and the first one was Luigi's Mansion, also known as the worst track I've ever played on. For some reason, in the same game where Nintendo decided to add a small square as a track, they also decided to build a 3-story mansion and make it a battle track, cause why the hell not? And if you try to play Shine Thief on this course, have fun enduring hell, because I did with my friend and he decided he would just run away the whole time. Do you know what that kind of thing does to my competitive spirit? Does that give me a bit of bias against this track? Probably, but that's not going to stop the track from tainting the entire game's rating for me. And the final unlockable battle track is one I had never heard of before making this video. It's called Tilt-A-Kart. Holy shit, this is cool. You're on a giant old school Mario sprite. It kind of feels like the GameCube track, only instead the track actually moves around and like rotates and stuff. You'll have item boxes rolling around all over the course. I don't know, I was just really impressed. I have a lot of respect for it because I feel like this track could have been a bitch to program, and only a select amount of people really got to experience it, considering you had to get first place in the Flower Cup in mirror mode to unlock it. And let's face it, who's really out here playing mirror mode? I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I didn't even bother to get gameplay of it. I did bother to get some gameplay of time trials though. While I understand time trials are kind of like a necessity for speedrunners and people who are actually good at the game, for me it's just kind of there. But if we look above that for a second, we see the Grand Prix. I guess it was about time I actually started talking about the main game. Yep, this is definitely Mario Kart. You're still racing on a bunch of, for the most part, 3-lap courses that are all pretty good. The addition of another rider to each kart definitely makes the game a lot more hectic. Who would have thought? One player drives and one throws items and does this little swoosh thing that you can use to mess up the other racers, if you're good, or you can use it to mess up whoever's driving and steer them off course. And while the 2-player dynamic of each kart definitely adds to the fun, and don't get me wrong, I definitely hope Nintendo brings back a Double Dash mode in the future. As I'm sure you can tell, it can lead to some buffoonery, some tomfoolery, some monkeying around, if you will. And with the amount of just crazy ass items in this game, the chaos really just never ends. Yeah, you've got your standard shells and bananas that are littered across literally every other Mario Kart game, but you've also got these brand new character specific items. I just love these so much. Each character gets their own special item that's unique to them, and there's just something really cool about that. And honestly, while all these items do make the game a lot more chaotic, they also can make it a lot more strategic. Now you're not just choosing a character because they look cool. And another thing that adds strategy to this game is the fact that they let you change your kart now. I'm a fan of this. It adds more strategy, like I said, and each kart has its own stats. But honestly, I'm probably gonna look at these less than I look at this speedometer that's always been in the corner of the screen. Just pick a kart and go, it'll be fine. But going back to the items, some of them are much better than the others. Mario and Luigi get some fireballs, the monkeys get a giant ass banana, Diddy Kong's scrawny ass can somehow throw this. Bowser and Bowser Jr. get a giant shell that just bounces everywhere. The Toads gatekeep the golden mushroom that everyone used to be able to use in the old games. Peach and Daisy get invincibility and can steal items. That's not powerful at all. Wario and Waluigi have bombs. Yoshi and Birdo get eggs that lock onto players and spew out just random items all over the course. They're basically just red shells with extra steps. The Koopas get the regular shells that everyone has, only this time they can get 3 of them. Holy hell is that lame. And the babies get my personal favorite item, the Chain Chomp. This is peak Mario Kart. Oh, and the 2 characters I forgot about get access to every single item in the entire game. Nintendo, what is wrong with you? But a lot of these items ended up being staples in the future Mario Kart games. The fireballs came back, the Chain Chomp became the Bullet Bill, which I find to be a slight downgrade, but I digress. And the bombs returned. All of these items can make the game pretty random at times, which takes a lot of skill away from the game. But don't get it twisted, this game is hard as hell. The tracks are hard. The first time I played Double Dash when making this video, I met Lakitu at least 1,000 times. And a lot of the tracks contain obstacles that are just kind of wild. Sherbet Land has these ice things that if you touch, you just get frozen in place for a few seconds and lose all your momentum. Dry Desert has tornadoes and pokies everywhere. The highway tracks have cars that go actually fast, some of which are bombs. I don't appreciate the difficulty, but I do appreciate the creativity. Stuff like this gives Double Dash its own identity, which it definitely already had, but still. But anyways, the first track you play, if you play the cups in order like a normal person, is Luigi's Circuit. It's a circuit track, sure, but I can just appreciate how it has this one section where you can just crash and attack oncoming traffic. It really just sets the tone for the bullshit that is yet to come. Then we've got Peach Beach. Is it just a regular old beach course? Sure, but I like the references to sunshine throughout it. And then the game just decides to throw you into the hell that is Baby Park. I love this track. It is the embodiment of Double Dash. Not much more to say about it other than what the hell. Then there's Dry Desert, which is about as good as it gets for a desert track, honestly. Like I mentioned earlier, the stage obstacles are cool, and I love how the sky is just covered in those heat waves. The Flower Cup starts off with Mushroom Bridge, which has this really cool bridge shortcut, and I can definitely say that of the 2 car tracks in this game, this is definitely the worst one. Next is Mario Circuit, and I think I'm gonna fall asleep. Then we've got Daisy Cruiser, probably the second best track in the entire game for me. Then we have Waluigi Stadium, which I like it, but it just loves to remind me that you can't do tricks in Double Dash. The Star Cup starts with Sherbet Land, which looks nice and sounds nice, but it's just so boring, probably making it the most mid track in all of Double Dash. The only mid thing about Mushroom City is this hole right here. Daisy Cruiser had me thinking any hole could lead to a new room to drive through, but Mushroom City is like Shroom Bridge, but actually memorable. And then there's Yoshi Circuit. I've always admired the creativity creativity of this track, but damn do these turns make it difficult. Why does a character that's based off of a dinosaur have to have the spikes of a dinosaur? The cup ends with what is, in my opinion, the best track in the entire game, DK Mountain. To start off, you get launched out of this cannon and you just ride down the mountain. Quite a simple concept, but it's a simple concept done right. And I like how there's these giant boulders rolling down the course the whole time, because the giant Bowser shells and chain chomps just didn't quite make the game chaotic enough. The special cup has to be unlocked, it's not just there from the get-go, which I always found to be a little odd, but all you have to do is beat the star cup in 100cc to unlock it, so you'll get it anyways. The cup starts with Wario Coliseum, which just kind of feels like an upgrade version of Waluigi Stadium, and finally Wario got a Mario Kart course that didn't suck ass, and I don't really know why, but this course kind of reminds me of Waluigi Pinball. Then there's Dino Jungle, which is a nice jungle course, but the bridges in the middle, god, they are just not very nice. The dinosaur has this big ass smile though, he looks like he would just give me a hug for real. Bowser's Castle is fun and fine, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't better ones. I do like these fireballs though, and they give you aura when you realize you can just drive through them. Then there's Rainbow Road, which may look easy. You may think I suck by looking at the place I'm in, but try it for yourself because this is painful. I like how there's a bunch of rainbow items around the track though, that makes sense I guess. Rainbow Road has always been a harder track to me, but damn does Double Dash have a humbling one. I can appreciate how every track in this game feels unique and different from the others. I'm excluding Mario Circuit from this conversation. And I can also appreciate just how damn good this game looks. And I know Super Circuit has already caught a stray in this video, and it was on a handheld, but just look at the difference. The game's colors just scream mid-2000s. And that intro where the Mario Kart logo does that little spin, tell me that doesn't remind you of an old 2000s commercial. Damn, Drew, it's almost as if this game was made in the 2000s. But anyways, I personally don't have any nostalgia for Double Dash. This was my first time playing it, but I can imagine how fun this probably was with friends back in the day. The combination of 2 players in one cart and each character getting their own crazy ass item makes the game, take a shot for every time I've said this, way more hectic. If you're into those competitive style racing games like Forza, this is very much not for you. It's loaded to the brim with bullshit. But for me, it's really damn good, and even in 2023, might be one of my go-to games for whenever I have company over. Overall, Double Dash gets an 8 out of 10 from me. It ain't perfect, but creativity goes a long way, and Double Dash is a shining example of that. And I'm happy to say that this is probably one of the only review style videos of Double Dash that never mentioned Luigi's stupid backwards hat on that box art.